March 31st, 1993. Wilmington, North Carolina. A movie set. Brandon Lee, 28 years old, son of Bruce Lee, is filming his breakthrough role in The Crow. A gun is pointed at him. The trigger is pulled. Brandon falls. The crew thinks he's acting, but he's not. He's dying. 20 years after his father's mysterious death, the Lee family curse strikes again. 2 generations. 2 mysterious deaths. Bruce Lee dies at 32 under suspicious circumstances. His son Brandon dies at 28 in a freak accident that should have been impossible. Both on the verge of superstardom. Both cut down in their prime. Coincidence? Or is there really a curse on the Lee family? This is the story that Hollywood doesn't want to talk about. The story that haunts everyone who knew them. The story of a family that conquered the world and paid the ultimate price. In Chinese culture, there's an ancient belief called tall tree catches wind. It means if you rise too high, if you become too successful, if you shine too bright, the universe will correct the imbalance. Jealous spirits will strike you down. The gods will punish your arrogance. Bruce Lee knew this belief. His mother warned him constantly, "Jun Fan, you're becoming too famous. Too powerful. You must be humble. You must make offerings to the ancestors." But Bruce didn't believe in superstition. He believed in hard work, science, training. "Curses are for weak minds," he said. In 1970, Bruce bought a house in Hong Kong at 41 Cumberland Road. A feng shui master visited and said, "This house has bad energy. The spirits are angry here. You should not live here." Bruce laughed it off. He moved in anyway. 3 years later, he was dead. July 20th, 1973. Bruce Lee collapses in Betty Ting Pei's apartment. Dead at 32. Official cause: cerebral edema from an allergic reaction to a painkiller. But immediately, the whispers start. In Hong Kong's Chinatown, old masters say, he flew too high. The curse took him. They point to the signs. Bruce disrespected traditional martial arts masters. He taught sacred techniques to foreigners. He became too proud. Too arrogant. He ignored feng shui warnings. He challenged the natural order. At Bruce's funeral, his mother is devastated. But she's not surprised. She told friends, "I knew this would happen." He wouldn't listen. The spirits were angry. Linda Lee, Bruce's widow, doesn't believe in curses. It was a medical tragedy. Nothing more. But then, 20 years later, history repeats itself. Brandon Lee grew up in his father's shadow. Everywhere he went, "You're Bruce Lee's son. Can you fight like him?" Brandon resented it at first. He wanted to be his own person. He studied acting, not martial arts. He moved to America, changed his name briefly, tried to escape the legacy. But the legacy always pulled him back. By his mid-20s, Brandon accepted his destiny. He trained in martial arts, not to copy his father, but to honor him. He started getting action movie roles. Small at first, then bigger. In 1992, he landed the lead role in The Crow, a dark, gothic action film about a murdered musician who returns from the dead to avenge his killing. The role was perfect for Brandon. Intense, emotional, physical. This was his breakthrough. His Enter the Dragon moment. The film that would make him a star on his own terms. But weeks before filming, Brandon told his fiancée Eliza something chilling. "I keep having this feeling. Like something bad is going to happen. Like what happened to my dad is going to happen to me." Eliza tried to comfort him. "Brandon, you're just nervous. It's a big role. You'll be fine." Brandon shook his head. "No, it's more than that. I can feel it." March 31st, 1993. The set of The Crow. They're filming a crucial scene. Brandon's character is shot by thugs in his apartment. The scene requires a gun to be fired directly at Brandon from close range loaded with blanks. Of course, the crew had been using the same prop gun for weeks without issues. Blanks are safe. They make noise and flash but fire no projectile. Brandon is in costume black leather, pale makeup, looking like death itself. Ironic, considering what's about to happen. The scene begins. Actor Michael Massey points the .44 Magnum prop gun at Brandon. He pulls the trigger. Bang. Brandon stumbles backward, clutching his abdomen. He falls to the ground. The director yells, "Cut!" "Great take, Brandon." But Brandon doesn't get up. Someone notices blood. Real blood. Pooling on the floor. Brandon? Brandon. Chaos erupts. Someone calls 911. The crew surrounds Brandon. He's unconscious. Barely breathing. The ambulance rushes him to New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Surgeons operate for 5 hours, desperately trying to save him. But the damage is too severe. A real bullet somehow lodged in the prop gun had fired into Brandon's abdomen, tearing through his spine. At 1:04 p.m. on April 1, 1993, Brandon Lee is pronounced dead. He's 28 years old. 8 days before his wedding, the investigation begins immediately. How did a real bullet get into a prop gun? The police discover a horrifying chain of failures. Days earlier, the crew needed close-up shots of the gun with bullets visible in the cylinder. They created dummy bullets, real bullet casings with the gunpowder removed. But with the primer caps still intact, someone fired the gun with these dummy rounds. The primer cap, though weak, generated just enough force to lodge the bullet tip in the gun barrel. Nobody noticed. Later, when they loaded the gun with blanks for Brandon's death scene, the blanks explosion propelled the lodged bullet out of the barrel at lethal speed. A 1 in a million accident. Multiple failures happening in sequence. Each individually harmless. Together, deadly. The armorer on set hadn't properly inspected the gun. The assistant director hadn't followed safety protocols. The production company had cut corners to save money. Michael Massey, the actor who pulled the trigger, was devastated. He took a year from acting. For the rest of his life, he refused to discuss The Crow. The trauma never left him. In Hong Kong, when news of Brandon's death spreads, the old masters nod knowingly. The curse. We told them. The Lee family is cursed. They point to the parallels. Bruce died at 32. Brandon at 28, both in their prime. Both died during career breakthroughs. Both deaths were mysterious. Controversial, both happened on film-related projects. Both left behind grieving widows. Linda Lee, who lost both her husband and son, tries to stay rational. There is no curse. These were tragic accidents. Terrible luck. But not supernatural. But even she admits, sometimes I wonder. The odds of both of them. It seems impossible. Brandon's fiancée Eliza is haunted by his premonition. He knew. Weeks before it happened, he knew. How do you explain that? The Crow was released in May 1994, dedicated to Brandon's memory. It became a massive hit and a cult classic. Brandon's performance was praised as powerful and haunting. Critics said he would have been a huge star, but Brandon never got to see it. Never got to enjoy his success. Never got to marry Eliza. Never got to live the life he worked so hard to build. Today, Bruce and Brandon Lee are buried side by side in Seattle's Lakeview Cemetery. Fans from around the world visit their graves, leaving flowers, notes, and martial arts weapons as tributes. The curse theory persists. Some believe it. Some don't. But everyone agrees. The Lee family suffered tragedies that seem beyond coincidence. Was it a curse? Was it just terrible luck? Or was it something else? The price of fame, the cost of pushing boundaries, the risk of living life at full intensity? We'll never know for certain, but one thing is undeniable. Bruce Lee changed the world. Brandon Lee was about to do the same. 2 generations of brilliance. 2 lives cut short. 2 legends who left us too soon. The curse of the Lee family. Real or imagined, it took 2 of the most talented martial artists and actors the world has ever seen. Bruce at 32, Brandon at 28, both on the edge of immortality. Both denied their future. Some call it fate. Some call it tragedy. The Chinese call it the price of flying too high.